Hello, Level B. It's our last week of class. Whoop! So my video during our live class didn't record today, which is super fun. So I'm gonna do the explanation real quick. No, probably not real quick, but it'll be faster than you think it will be. Okay, so this week we are talking about modal verbs, modal, and well, I'm going to show you. Okay, so the first thing you need to know is that with modal verbs, we use, after modal verbs, we use something called a naked infinitive. Naked is desnudo. So, like in Spanish, we could say, puedo hablar, right? And hablar, like we talked about for the last few weeks, is an infinitive. And so typically the translation would be to speak or to talk, right? So with poder, which in English the translation is can, you're not going to use the to. You don't need it. So you use the naked infinitive. So I can speak. You can eat. We can talk. All right? So with all of these verbs, you're not going to use the to. Okay. So we're going to start off talking about may and might. All right? So first of all, these are very similar words. But what you need to know is that if we're talking about like possibility, the may is 50% certain and might is only 20 to 30% certain. So we'll look at some examples where I can show you which the correct one would be, okay? But if you're like, I don't know, you're like 50-50 certain, okay, 50%, then you would use may, usually. And if you're like less than that, then you're going to try to use might. But we'll look at some examples, okay? All right. So let's do may first. So for permission, all right? For permission. So you may leave the room. You may leave the room. So the other thing, let's see. So we could use can here, right? Like you can leave the room. Sometimes we use can for permission. But with may, it's going to be more formal. You may leave the room. Okay, so this one's more formal. This one is kind of informal. So this one you would use like maybe with your friends or with your children, informal. This one you would use in a situation where it's a formal situation, like if you have a very serious teacher. I'm not a serious teacher, but if you have a very serious teacher, then you could say, the teacher might say, you may leave the room, right? So may in this case for permission is more formal, okay? You can also put it if you're asking for permission, okay? Asking for permission. You could say, may I leave the room? Okay. May I go to the restroom? May I borrow a pencil? Okay, so you can also make it into a question. All right. Possibility. So this is the one, the possibility, this is the one both might and may have possibilities. But this one is like 50-50. He may be waiting for us when we arrive. So maybe, right? Like possibly yes, possibly no, but it's 50-50 that he may be waiting for us when you arrive. Okay, a request. May I use your phone, please? When you're asking, it's formal. So you can see right here, it's a formal request, all right? May I use your phone? An offer of help. Okay? May I help you, sir? May I take your jacket, right? Like when you go to a fancy restaurant, may I take your jacket? When you go to a fancy restaurant, an expensive restaurant, sometimes there's someone at the door who says, oh, may I take your jacket? And you take your coat and they put it in a closet for you, okay? So it's a formal way of offering to do something for someone, okay? Also, prohibition. Prohibition. That means nope, you may not use this computer. And usually when we're using it in that sense, it's like serious. You may not speak Spanish in my class, right? Like it's a serious prohibition. Because we could also say, no, you can't use the computer, right? But if you say, oh, you may not use this computer, then it's like, it's more serious. It just carries more weight. It's like stronger, más fuerte, okay? And then, speculation. Okay, so again, this is kind of like possibility. Speculation. John may have gone to Spain. So again, like, this one is more, it's like you don't know, like where's John? Where did John go? I don't know. Maybe he went to Spain. Like he may have gone to Spain. So it's like speculation is you don't know, but you're thinking of like possible options. Okay? You don't know, but you're thinking of possible options. Okay. Let's do might. All right. Might. 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 It rhymes with night. Might, night. Okay? All right. So again, might is when you're 20 to 30% certain, okay? 20 to 30% certain. So you could use might for possibility. So John might come to your party, okay? So up here, you also use may for possibility. It just depends on how certain you are, okay? Speculation. Someone might have already told his wife she might be pregnant. Okay, she might be pregnant. A suggestion. This is a weird one. I don't want us to worry about this one right now. It's kind of a strange one. Okay, and conditional. So, if you invite him, he might come. If you had invited him, he might have come. So these are the same sentences, they're just different tenses. So with conditionals, for example, let me pull this. Nope, that's not it. Ah, here it is. Sorry. If you lose your keys, you might be late to work. Right? If you win the lottery, you might buy a new house. If you have nothing to do tonight, you might go to bed early. Okay? So those are conditionals where you have the word if, and then you're going to use might. Okay? All right, let's do a quick practice. Okay, so on this one, when I grow up, I blank become an engineer. So what do you think the answer is? The answer is, come on, show me. There we go. I may become an engineer. So this is like, he really likes, like maybe this kid is close to graduating from high school, and like he really likes math and science, and so 50-50, he may be an engineer, right? Like if it's a 4-year-old, okay, if it's a little kid, then you could say, oh, he might be an engineer someday, right? Because at 4, we don't really know if they're going to be an engineer or not. Okay. Okay, blank, I have a glass of water. What do you think? What do you think? This one is a request. So if you look at your pink sheet, which one is the request, may or might? It's going to be may, because it's a request, a formal request. So this is something you would ask at a fancy restaurant or maybe at a hotel or something, all right? May I have a glass of water? All right, there is a small chance that we blank go to the beach this weekend. Small chance. There's a plan, maybe, a small plan. So which one are we going to use if it's a small chance? We're going to use might, right? May is 50-50, half and half. So you could say, we may go to the beach or we may go to Six Flags. 50-50, right? Or you could say, in this sense, it's more like, what are you going to do this weekend? I don't know. We might go to the beach, right? Like there's no plan. It's like a small possibility, okay? So might is the answer to that one. If you leave the stove on, the house blank catch on fire. If you leave the stove on, the house blank catch on fire. What do you think? What do you think? It's going to be if you leave the stove on. What's the one where we use if you leave the stove on? It's going to be might. If you leave the stove on, the house might catch on fire. Might. Oops. Yeah. The house might catch on fire. All right. Last one. Billy and I blank cook dinner tonight. Billy and I blank cook dinner tonight. This is a hard one. It's possibility, right? So it could be either. What do you think? May cook dinner tonight. Yeah, I think that one could be both. That one could be both. It just depends on how much of the dinner you've planned. Okay? So that could be both. All right, let's go back to can and could. Okay, you already know this one. Can and can't, that's kind of English. You learned it earlier. Okay? So, first of all, the negative is cannot. Cannot. I cannot believe that he said that. So usually we use can't, the contraction, but we occasionally will use I cannot. So you can say cannot or cannot. And we'll use that for like emphasis, like I cannot believe her husband, I don't know. What can we believe? I can't believe her husband has coronavirus. I cannot believe it. Right? So we do it for like emphasis. It's like stronger when you use cannot. All right? That's it. That's the only thing you need to know. Okay. So we use can for ability, capability, ability. So I can swim. We already know that, right? You already know that one. Permission. You can go to the cinema. So you can also use may, right? You can go to the cinema. You may go to the cinema. You can use both. One is more formal, may. You may go to the cinema, more formal. Yes, you can go to the cinema. Informal. It's not as formal, okay? Possibility. Smoking can cause cancer. It's not like 100%. Like maybe you'll be lucky. But smoking can cause cancer. A request. So, can I have a biscuit, please? the same. So, can I have a biscuit or can I have a glass of water is not formal. May I have a glass of water is formal. Okay. Negative deduction. Let's not worry about this one right now. Okay. I don't want to do that one. And then prohibition. You can never tell anyone. You can never tell anyone. All right. So I think you know all of those pretty much. Yeah. Okay. So let's do. Here's our favorite. Could. C-O-U-L-D. Could. 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 Make sure you say the D on the end. Could. Okay. So here's could. So the negative would be could not. The contraction is your favorite. Couldn't. 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 Okay? So, first of all, the most of the time when we use could, it's the past of can. Okay? So, today I can swim. Yesterday or last week I could swim when I was 7. Okay? So, it's in the past. So, pude nadar. I could swim. Okay? When I was 7. So, it's something that happened in the past. All right, permission. So this is also in the past, okay? We could go to the cinema once a week. So you're talking about like, oh, my mom, when I was little, right, when I was like 12, my mom said, yes, we could go to the theater once a week. So it's permission given in the past, okay? So my mom said, past, that we could, past, go to the store. Okay? I'm trying to think. I think it could also be, okay, so that's in the past. My mom said we could go to the theater when I was little, right? It could also be, so like when two kids are making plans, right? So like one says, okay, let me go ask my mom. And so they go and they say, Mom, can we go to the mall? Right? Mom, can we go to the mall right now? And she says, yes. Okay, so then he goes back to his friend and he says, okay, my mom said we could go to the mall. Right? So it's like permission, but that's actually a little bit in the future. So you can use it in the past or the future for permission. We're going to do examples. Don't worry about it. Okay. Possibility. This vase could be very valuable. So in this case, it's like saying, where's my phone? It's in the present, right? You're like, ooh, this could be very valuable, right? It's like there's the possibility that it is valuable. Okay, so you could use might or you could use could in this. It might be valuable. It could be valuable. They both kind of have the same meaning in that sense. Okay? They both have the same meaning. All right. Could. Request. Could I use your phone, please? So here you could use may. This one would be might. May I use your phone, please? Could I use your phone, please? Can I use your phone, please? All right. This is more formal. Could I use your phone? Okay. Offer. Could I be of any help? All right, this one's very formal. We don't really use this. You could say, could I help you? All right, could I help you? And then suggestion. Okay, suggestion or advice. Sugerencias, consejos. You could buy Mary some flowers. So if I'm like, today's Mary's birthday, I don't have a gift for her. What am I going to do? And you have advice. You could say, you could buy her some flowers, right? So it's like a suggestion, consejos, okay? Yeah, and like we do use that. We do use that. Well, you could I don't know. You could get her a gift card. You could take her some ice cream. All right, we do use those as suggestions. All right, and then the negative deduction past, don't worry about it. All right, don't worry about it. Okay, we're going to do some practice with can and could. All right, here's the first one. 5 years ago, I blank played the piano. So 5 years ago is in the past. So if it's past, we're going to use couldn't. I couldn't play the piano because it's in the past, right? So what this sentence sounds like, 5 years ago, I couldn't play the piano. And then there's like, but today I can. That's kind of what it sounds like a little bit to me. Okay? So I couldn't swim when I was younger, but now I can. That's kind of like the context. That's what it sounds like. Okay. We blank speak English well. Can or could? This one is just talking about ability, so you're just going to use can. We can speak English well. Okay? The volleyball team blank go to the Olympics this year if they are lucky. If they are lucky. So actually, okay, on your pink sheet, this doesn't have it on there for can or could. But under could, if you want to, you can write the conditional. So the same, sorry, you can't see. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so might has the conditional, right? So could over here, they don't have it listed, but we can use the conditional with this one. So if you want to, you can also write if ... and conditional. Okay. If conditional. So in this example, the volleyball team could go to the Olympics this year if they are lucky. Okay. So because we have that word if, we're going to use could. So it's the same like might. So the volleyball team might go to the Olympics this year if they are lucky. We'll also use could. All right. I blank run that fast when I was 6 years old. When I was 6 years old. So if it's in the past, we're going to use couldn't. I couldn't run that fast when I was 6 years old. I couldn't run that fast when I was 6 years old. All right, one more. All right, I think I blank help you if you study hard. I think I blank help you learn math if you study hard. So this is capability, right? Like, puedo, I can help you. I can help you learn math if you study hard. So even though this is a conditional, if you study hard, it's more talking about in this case, it's talking about my ability to help you, right? I can help you. Stupid English. Okay, I'm going to make one more short video with a practice explaining things so that you can hear me talk about it more, okay? If you have questions, let me know. This week is organized in like may or might is today and tomorrow, I think. And then can and couldn't are on Wednesday. I don't know. You'll see it in your packet, okay? But we're taking it kind of slow, so we'll do these four words. And then on Thursday I have some games, I have like some fun stuff that we can do on Thursday. Okay.